They met at a golf course in Scotland. One came to play, the other came to negotiate, and within 40 minutes, the European Union blinked. This isn't just a story about tariffs. It's about how Donald Trump turned a casual Sunday meeting into one of the most strategic trade wins of his presidency, and how Europe, despite its size and influence, walked away bruised. At face value, the deal was simple. The EU would accept a 15% tariff on most of its exports to the US. In exchange, the US would sell billions in weapons and energy. No full-blown trade war, no 25% tariff, no chaos in the markets. Sounds like a compromise, right? But when you zoom out, the picture changes. Because it wasn't just a trade deal, it was a masterclass in pressure, posturing, and poker. And Trump had all the cards. Let's rewind. For months, tensions between the EU and the US were climbing. Trump had threatened a 25% tariff if no deal was reached. European steel and aluminium were already being hammered by American import taxes. And behind the scenes, NATO, Ukraine, and China were all tangled into the same diplomatic web. Then Trump invites EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen to his private golf club in Turnberry, in a non-EU country, and makes it clear he's not in a good mood. The odds of a deal, 50-50. And just like that, 40 minutes later, it's done. Tariffs locked in. Billions pledged in contracts, a wave of reactions across Europe. Some called it a relief, others a surrender. France's prime minister called it a somber day. A day when an alliance of free peoples resigned itself to submission. Hungary's Viktor Orban didn't hold back either. He said Trump ate von der Leyen for breakfast. So what really happened? According to economists, the EU didn't just fold, it calculated. Europe has a $200 billion trade surplus with the US. It had more to lose in a full-blown trade war. Von der Leyen may have accepted short-term losses to avoid long-term collapse. The Commission's deeper fear wasn't just tariffs, it was geopolitics. What if the US pulled military support from Ukraine? What if NATO troop levels dropped? What if Europe had to pivot back to Russian energy? In that context, the 15% tariff was a price worth paying. And Trump? He walked away with a media win. His base saw strength. His critics saw submission. And global markets saw stability. But here's the twist. Tariffs aren't paid by exporters. They're paid by importers. In this case, American companies, American consumers. So in a way, the US is taxing itself to reassert dominance. That said, the damage to the EU may still run deep. German exporters, French officials, and European business groups have all warned that the deal will cost them billions. And yet, both sides are calling it a victory. So is it? Maybe. Because trade isn't a zero-sum game. Europe now has deeper access to US energy and weapons, a lifeline in the shadow of war with Russia. And Trump has shown once again that the US still holds the economic high ground in global negotiations. Even if the stage was a golf course and the stakes were wrapped in press conferences, the message was clear. Power isn't about who's right, it's about who sets the rules. And for now, that's still Washington. Subscribe for more cinematic breakdowns on economics, psychology, and power.